to the show, everybody. It's been a long time. I keep saying we're going to do a show once a week.
That has not happened.
It's not happening. We're lucky to get one out every month, so it's we'll do them whenever we feel like.
Well, to be fair, like you started a new job and
New job. Lots of things have happened since we've been away. We've had new games come out that soaked up our lives. We've had presidential indictments. We've had hurricanes.
Or fear of hurricanes.
Fear. We've had more than normal rain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a heavy drizzle.
for summer in LA. Yeah, that was a first.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was real.
We could talk about all of that stuff, but we're not, because today we're going to talk about our buddy, Dustin. Just Dustin, no last name.
Happy to be here.
Old friend, best friend.
Yeah, longtime friend.
Yeah. Used to live together.
We've known each other, let's see, I met Caleb in 2004.
Do you realize we're pushing 20 years?
Yeah, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And I met Alvin shortly after that.
It's a scary thought.
We lived together here in LA for 11 years.
It's been longer than that.
No, it was 11 years. 1 year in Koreatown, 1 year in Echo Park, and then almost 10 years in
No, we
Westlake.
did 10. We did 10 over there, didn't we?
Okay, so
I
maybe...
think we did a solid 10 with those psychos.
Oh, yeah, okay, so... But long enough.
Put in our time.
Yeah.
We earned our stripes.
Yeah, we've known each other a very long time, so it's good to be part of this.
Okay, cool. So, I think we want to bring all of our friends on, or at least the ones that aren't
That are
camera
willing.
shy. Yeah. Talk to people on the internet and be judged
That's what it's
virtually.
Yeah.
I'm in this game to get judged by strangers.
Yeah.
That's
So
the only reason.
yeah.
Rate my face out of 10. No.
Please, say in the comment section.
Yeah, physically.
Yeah. So I had my brother-in-law on, and then I want to say someone else, maybe not.
Well,
No.
you had those previous interviews with the intellectuals. Your rich friend.
Oh, yeah, you got the good ones out of the way at first.
Oh,
Now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Us normal people.
Yeah, now I'm scraping the barrel. No, but yeah,
we're just dipping into that barrel.
yeah.
The barrel's deep.
So Dustin's here, and we're gonna talk to Dustin about some stuff. And this is the first time he's been on, but hopefully not the last. We want to get more people on and bigger parties on. So
Just
Yeah.
have fun,
Dope.
you know.
yeah. All right. So Dustin, anything you want to say?
Well, I mean, a little bit about me.
Let's do it.
I work in the visual effects field.
He's
Have
just
done
working. He dominates in it.
well, thank
It's
you.
true. He's a
But
powerhouse.
Yeah.
came out to LA in 2009. Got my foot in the door via an unpaid internship. Been working ever since, so I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm very blessed to be doing visual effects.
So Dustin's been doing VFX for a long time, and I remember watching you go from internship to not eating daily
Yeah.
because we just didn't have the money.
The studio that I was interning at had a kitchen that you could make sandwiches and basic snacks, and I would eat. I was only going in 3 days a week, and I would eat just those 3 days. It was brutal.
That's survivor mode. You want to make it out here, honey. You need to eat only these 3 days. Shake a little leg while you're at it.
I mean, I remember my mom would send me gift cards to Subway so I could eat.
I remember those. Yeah. Holy shit.
Do you?
Thanks, Mom.
Okay, I have a question. I know, kind of cutting through a bit of it, but internships, how do you feel about them? Because I still feel like they're pretty exploitive. As much as
Yeah.
I feel like you have to have mixed feelings though, because it does help, but it's also that's free labor.
Yeah, I mean, an
You're
industry
feeding somebody 3 days a week, and that makes it justifiable.
in an industry
That's
like
if you're lucky.
visual
Feeding.
effects, I always joke around that no one's doing an unpaid internship as a garbage man. There's it's saturated work market with people who are very excited to get into the field, and as a result, they're willing to do just about anything to do it.
Do you think it's still like that?
Well, it has gone to paid internships now.
Yeah. But how much are
which
they
is
paying?
Not much.
$9 an hour?
I mean,
They
obviously
have to pay more than that in California. Minimum
Yeah,
wage.
they have to pay minimum wage, I imagine.
But how did they get away with fucking paying people nothing and being like, you know, you're just getting
Same way they got away with kids being in coal mines for a long time. You just wake up to like, yeah, this is a bad idea.
Well, no, like I said, it's a desirable career field for so many people that
it is.
I mean, I came very, very excited to just be part of it, and as a result, sure, they probably exploited me a little bit.
They know damn well you're excited.
But that's the thing. It's like you look at the current writer's strike, and it's like as desirable as it seemed, that was like mired under an illusion, you know? Like, the illusion was like, it's so awesome. You remember those video game commercials? Like, there's two dudes playing fucking games. Like, I can't believe we get to do this for a job.
Or the movie Grandma's Boy. Where, this is what it's like to be a game tester. No,
it's not at all.
No, it's highly
have no false illusions.
Where's the part in the movie where people were sleeping under their desks because they have to like crank out?
Right.
Yeah.
The culture was so exploitive, and that's like what's fascinating with what's happening with the writers' strike and all of these other strikes. It's like, I don't know, like this has been on my mind. Did you see that one fucking billionaire guy who came out this week who was just like, we got to reset, and he's like Australian.
The guy who said we need more
were talking
pain,
about that.
He'd like to see the unemployment rate rise up
40 to 50%. He's like, we got to remind these people that they're lucky to have jobs.
Oh boy,
yeah.
Like,
out of touch.
Really mask off moment as far as just like we hate you.
Yeah, like we despise you. Are a number. You are not a person.
Yeah,
like that's that thinking. It's like because it's that whole thing of like, hey, it has to go up every year. Every year we have to make more. Like you can't just be a sustainable company that just is profitable, like and sustaining.
Right.
You have to make more. And the only way to do that is to exploit the consumer and your worker, and that's that thinking. Like,
reduce quality of product, increase cost of product to the consumer,
right?
And like slightly innovate, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about smart devices and phones and things that each little change each year is so incrementally tiny. What are they going from 12 megapixels to 13 megapixel cameras or something?
Yeah, they're going to start selling you a wireless mouse, but then the mouse is missing a component, and you have to buy a different component to connect the Bluetooth to your fucking.
Or it'll be a subscription thing where you buy the phone or you buy the mouse, and then there's a subscription for the wireless connection.
Being a
like
good
that.
manager.
You'd be a good CEO.
Yeah,
some rapacious company.
Well, it's like there was a study that you kind of have to be a sociopath to become a billionaire. Because you have to take advantage of people, you have to exploit, you have to be that shark.
Proving that more and more every day. They're like, oh, we can't really pay you guys. Meanwhile, like every one of these CEOs have like given themselves a raise like year on year. Like it's just like, I was making $22 million, now I'm making $24 million, but like these assholes that work for me just want more. What?
Yeah.
What's stunning is this is in the middle of, what's happened in the last few years? We've had a pandemic. We've had people lose their jobs, lose their own small businesses.
And then people kind of reset their psyche after that and realize, like, oh, you know what? I kind of want a quality of life.
Yeah, working from home.
And that seems possible. And then these CEOs and managers are like, we got to, like, get that out of here. These people need to know they're automatons and they work for us.
Even before then, it's like we've had how many strikes in the last 8 months?
It's been going off. Now the auto workers are fucking ready to go.
Right.
The railway workers strike.
Right.
Yeah.
So after all this, and now you just got this guy basing, and this isn't the first time he said this. This isn't something he's thought of. He's he's not the only
like
one.
a thought leader.
Well, it's funny because that guy, he was the guy that was. I made a joke earlier about the avocado toast.
Yeah.
He's the guy that put that out there
boy.
originally. Like kids can't buy houses because they're spending $12 on avocado toast. So it's the same asshole who thought you can't buy a house because the avocado toast is now saying we need unemployment. You guys are getting too arrogant.
Yeah.
See, to bring it full circle from the internship thing, like this is the kind of guy who wants to reset like 40 or 50% unemployment to where it's like you feel grateful to get an internship working at McDonald's.
Right.
Like
Could
you're
you
getting
imagine?
fucking experience just to work at McDonald's. Like how fortunate are you? And it's like that's like child
You're
labor
welcome,
thinking. Like,
by the
it's
way.
like no. And meanwhile, just like the normal person, it's like I can't get a house. I can't really invest in my future. I can't really like think about a future, and you just want to exploit me more. And and I'm being the asshole for that. I'm arrogant for wanting a job that like respects me as a human being. Like, no, go fucking die in a ditch. You are not better than people. You're just fucking a rich, entitled piece of shit.
I mean, all you have to do is look at how much pushback there was on the work from home movement during the pandemic. That, you know, it was framed as the worst thing that had ever happened. They gave us a taste of what real life could have been. Everybody had a better work-life balance. They were spending time with their kids. You could do laundry or errands around your house during the day.
That's just what CEOs do.
Yeah.
That's how they've conducted themselves for like the past 5-10 years.
Yeah. How many CEOs are in the office every single day?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm out doing business. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you're on vacation for like at least a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, you're just like having other people handle it. You show up and make like one big decision like every 6 months or
That's
something.
what they get paid the big bucks for. Yeah.
That's what they get paid for.
Well, if they weren't there, you know,
is,
this thing would collapse.
Yeah.
Like,
my brain's so special.
Well, you know, so now
No, it's not.
this kind of push to return to the office.
which my company's done
In
last week.
In mine, you know, I love where I work, but now they're bringing us back into 2 days a week.
Bastards.
And they have to justify the people who take care of the building. They have to justify the rent they're paying for this building.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, you got to bring people back. It's just such a frustrating thing because, like I said, they gave us a taste of how life could be, and it was great. Everybody, I mean, I have yet to hear about a story of a company that didn't do better having their employees comfortable working from home. Everything I hear is productivity was up, even though there weren't micromanagers running around making sure you were at your desk clicking a button. Yeah. People did their work. People like to work. You know, I mean, typically, they like to be useful. So, just crazy to me.
How much of this do you think, and I don't know enough about this, but it's my, like, hunch, and is that this is all predicated on the real estate market.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the real estate market has the same notion that, like, property value has to go up every single year or, like, something's wrong, you know? So there's all these commercial investments, and they're like, well, half of these CEOs are in bed and or have investments within these real estate companies, and they're like, the larger entities are going like, you got to get people back here. We're losing money. Like, we can't keep these. Like, everyone's like, and it's like, it should go bust. Like, I don't know. Like, there's obviously going to be pain after that, but like, to me, like, this whole like getting people back in the office is because all of these people at the top realize like, oh, our commercial real estate scheme essentially is about to go bust. We've invested too much in this shit, and we need people back in these offices.
And I just love how, you know, it's all about the free market, and you know, bad companies go under, good companies stay afloat. Well, I'm sorry, if the paradigm shifts and people work from home and these commercial properties are now useless, and I'm sorry, you put money in the wrong investment. When did investing not become risky? You know, it's always been risky.
Dustin.
When it's the retail investor, they are allowed to get fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, we'll bail out any of these big fucking pocket boys.
Yeah, socialism for big companies, capitalism for the little guy.
Yeah.
Here's one thing, though, that was interesting about how, okay, with everyone working from home, there are a lot of restaurants that basically depend on, like, the office building, lunch rush, you know, that sort of thing. How does that factor into what you think? Is it like, screw them, or
it does a little bit, but then I've heard other companies like had a massive boom of just like DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, Uber Eats, whatever, you know, like I heard a lot of them thrive during it, you know.
People still ate, right? So it's not like the money disappeared. It just went
like
to different
if you are
restaurants.
strategically located in a unit that is like right next to 2 major corporate offices, your business is probably going to suffer.
Yeah.
But like in general,
well,
the people that hurt more are like fine dining restaurants than like anyone who's like more sort of mobile in terms of just or nimble, I guess, in their model, if you will. You know?
So I mean, there's a Quiznos. There's only a couple Quiznos left in LA.
Yeah.
One of them.
Endangered species.
Like every time I hear about a Quiznos, I'm like, I thought they were.
I go there.
Yeah, I thought you said they were.
Once or twice a year, I like to go to Quiznos, just as a nostalgia thing.
So
But
crazy.
the one that I go to is in downtown, and it's like you said, it's in kind of a corporate building area, and it's only open from 11 to 3
Crazy.
during the weekdays.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
So you can't go there the weekend, no nights, no break, and it was frustrating because I kept going there, going like, why is this place closed? And then, yeah, sure, but it's been a ghost town since the pandemic. But
I don't know if you've heard about like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like it's insane up there how much of a ghost town it is.
Yeah.
And it's been taken over by like their downtown was the like Silicon Valley. I don't know if it's the hub because I think there's multiple hubs up there and I haven't been up there. So like if you're from there.
yeah, Silicon Valley's like not like downtown San Francisco,
No,
but
I mean, they got
They have
because
corporate
it's
offices.
built.
But there was a bunch of corporate offices that were just like
It's
completely
ghost town,
empty,
yeah.
and so now it's just like they don't know what to do with it. So they're trying to think about it in a more long term solution, and they're like doing like art installations and trying to make it more appealing to where it can be something eventually.
yeah.
But like right now, like everyone just I don't know. It comes back to that investment like mindset of
Yeah.
like, well, we're not allowed to lose money because we're the rich people and we
Yeah.
just get richer every year.
And I love how they also tout like staying nimble, pivot.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you need to change strategies, change strategies. They're the ones who are trying to keep the status quo all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We gotta get this.
they
back.
don't want to pivot. They don't want to change. They don't want anything like that because then they have to think. Then they have to.
And that's the thing. It's like ideally you're the CEO or some executive because you have all these like gears turning in your head on how to like
Yeah.
be the most business savvy and not take losses, but you're not. You're a placeholder. You expect the world to not change in
Yeah.
a way that
These
fucks
people
you up.
are not special.
No.
They are not special. They just think they're special.
Yeah.
They're like narcissistic, insane people who do not give a shit about normal human beings. And that's it. Like,
So you're saying we need more submersibles, like free trips to see the Titanic, free Titanic rides. Like,
It's the new Eat the Rich. Yeah. Send them to the Titanic.
yeah. You should go see the Titanic.
it's not free, because if it was free, they wouldn't care.
Yeah, no,
You know,
it's $250,000. We'll take it to
yeah.
the Titanic.
Good God, yeah. Most expensive suicide ever, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But they'd be lining up for that shit.
Oh God.
It's that, take them to space.
Yeah.
Take them to, tell them that you can go see the inside of a volcano.
Oh yeah, they love
Just
that.
wow. I can really fucking brag to my
Yeah.
other.
Cave diving inside a volcano.
Did you see the Menu, the movie?
I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Oh, is that a movie? I thought it was a TV show.
That's
a
what I thought,
restaurant?
too. Yeah, it's a movie though.
Okay, no, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, I won't say anything to spoil it for you guys, but yeah, tell them there's a restaurant here. We'll go and just have a good time.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, Dustin, I'll tell you what. From when we used to live together,
Mm-hmm.
there were times when you'd come into my room and we would discuss all sorts of whatever
Yeah.
hot topic, politics.
Usually
is,
when I was drinking, I'd
yeah.
come in and I'd sit down. And so Alvin had a couch right next to
Still do.
his computer. And it was perfect for just, you'd plop down and just throw out some topic.
Yeah.
And we would just go on a tangent about anything. Vigilantism.
Yeah. Favorite topic.
Yeah. But I
It's it's not a therapy couch. It's kind of
I was thinking that, yeah.
an anti-therapy couch.
it was
Well,
like
you still get out whatever you're thinking, and I would listen.
Sure.
I
it was like an echo chamber because we typically have similar views. So
Well, I like to put a wrench in that if
Sure.
I can.
Yeah.
Just kind of work you out as far as okay, how well did you think about this thing we're talking about here?
Yeah.
What are the different angles? I try to do that. I think I do it.
yeah, you gotta be able to.
I mean, if I can speak from experience, if Dustin's drinking, it's not that he wants to talk about some screwball shit just to see if he can either get a reaction for it or it's on his mind. It's one of two. It's actually either on your mind or you want to kind of see what kind of reaction you can get, and it's maybe a taboo or a fucking just vigilantism is like one of those things. It's a morally ambiguous sort of topic that's like, well, what do you think? And then Alvin, who loves to play like a little bit of devil's advocate one way or the other, just to kind of like balance it out, you know. So I think there was a lot of that.
Well, and sometimes you're good at like spurring me on to even greater heights of crazy idea thought.
Oh yeah, depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
I mean, I came to him one day with an idea of like, what if you were suicidal, you would go out and kill a terrible person in society and then yourself.
So a billionaire that thinks there should be more unemployment. So
someone truly evil. There's no question.
Sure.
Or people who get prison sentences that are, severely reduced, like the rapist Brock Turner or something. You know what I mean? He changed his name. He got like so little time in jail.
He changed his name?
Yeah, he changed his name.
This is the affluenza kid.
No.
Right?
This is the rapist Brock Turner. He was a
but
student.
It's the same thing. He suffered from affluenza, being like too rich to know right from wrong.
Yeah, and he was hooked up. So people like that, if I was suicidal, instead of just killing myself, I would go and kill them and then myself. And what if it started a movement where anybody who was suicidal was able to take out someone evil? Right. Well, then we started talking
that's
about
super dangerous.
Yes, exactly, because there are people who
like what the Joker was doing.
Well, that was so his story. Go ahead. You'll
it evolved into. I wanted to kind of write a novel about it to show the dangers of it as a. You start out presenting it as a good idea, and then let it go bad, and then obviously show how terrible it can become because moral gray areas, difference in ethical understanding. There are people who would be killing for religious purposes, and that's terrorism. So
we get back to where we're just terrorists.
Yeah,
it's like the woke mind virus. It's kind of exactly like that.
Yeah.
Wokeism, you get out there, you start
caring about other people like an asshole.
Pronouning.
I know.
Treating people equal. Like, what?
It's the woke mind virus. Speaking of, but
leave our kids alone.
Yeah, no, but this is unrelated. Did you see the clip of Lauren Bobart fucking fondling her man's fucking junk and getting her fucking taste squeezed in the theater?
What? I heard that she was, or I read the story that she was vaping and causing a scene.
Vaping
and that's
in front of a pregnant
out.
woman. Taking pictures, video, the film.
And then she tweeted, like, I was just laughing and enjoying the show too much, and I got kicked out. Ha ha ha. I'm so naughty, but, like, I can't. If you know about the show, don't spoil it.
Was she going back?
I don't even know. But also, the thing about that show is it's not an adult show. It is like
It's Beetlejuice, right?
It's Beetlejuice, but, like, it's a play for, like, kids and adults. It is not like hey, this is all adults here, and she's out there like...
She's a real piece of work. I gotta say, though...
Stupid hot.
I kind of find her sexy.
She is really hot.
And you know what?
She's trash.
Her Tinder date is a bar owner of, like, a drag bar. He's a Democrat.
Oh!
The guy getting fought?
Whoa! Yeah.
Wow,
so... there's this whole thing where I read a news article the other week about how Republican and conservative men are finding it so difficult to find connections because being MAGA or being a Trump supporter is a red flag for 75% of women in the millennial and Gen Z era.
To add to that, also
so Lauren Boebert doesn't even want to date a Republican. I mean, shit. Why would you want to date someone who's actively trying to take away your rights?
How's that D?
I mean, the conservative D?
How's that D?
Got that D. Listen, there is something concerning about that, which is like, why is that? I mean, okay, obviously, certain beliefs are... We'll say just reprehensible. You're not going to date... Abhorrent, yes. You're not going to date someone that, is trying to take away your rights or believes certain, like, we'll say bigoted things, right? But there is something about, like...
I could change them.
Well, there's that, too. But has it always been that case? Like, has politics always played a factor into who you dated?
I don't think it was as big of a factor as I mean.
No.
We're super divisive now. I think you can. I mean, you hear about. I think back in the day it was probably more difficult to date if you were like Catholic or not. You know, which I don't think was a political divide necessarily, but that seems like it would have been more culturally divisive and more challenging to do. But nowadays, it's like
even then, for me, it seems like it was never between the two people. If you were Methodist and Catholic, they loved each other. It was the families who didn't like it. Same thing with interracial marriage. They loved each other. It was their families that were against it.
Right.
So between individuals,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like now, I
think it's
now even more toxic to like
because it's between individuals.
Party lines, yeah.
It's not like your family's pissed that you're dating a liberal. You don't want to date a liberal, or a conservative, vice versa.
Yeah.
Because we're America.
I mean, I would find it difficult to. Here's the thing, because it's so divisive these days, and because the Republican Party seemingly has gone off the deep end in terms of reducing human rights. They used to be the party of smaller government spending and less change, keeping things the way that they were. Conservative. Thank you. They've kind of gone off the deep end so far now in terms of they're just anti-humans unless you are a rich, white, land-owning male or like a business-owning male. You're the only that's the only person who's gaining anything from being a conservative these days.
I have a saying that if you're going to vote conservative, you have to be 3 of 5 things, which is straight, rich, white, male, Christian. Right? You gotta hit 3 of those for it to make sense to me that you're voting Republican.
So a straight black male Christian.
How does a black guy get in that?
Yeah, straight,
rich,
male, rich.
So he just doesn't have the white.
Right, but you hit 3 of those.
Sure, yeah, you hit 3 of those.
So in my mind, it's like, okay, like I don't agree with it, but I see why you're gravitating toward, like, you want less taxes, or like you hate gays, or
sure,
you hate women. That's like, okay, fine. You're nailing those 3 things.
I don't hate them. I just don't respect them.
I just don't want to see them outside of the kitchen as much.
I just don't want to see them at all.
You don't have to listen to them.
Yeah.
Here's a burqa. Anyway, so that's kind of like my thought.
Y'all Qaeda.
So I'm on your page with that as far as like.
It's not surprising to me that women find conservative men
abhorrent,
useless.
I mean, there's like
there's also an epidemic. I mean, I want to talk about this a little bit. The like man children who I hear these stories of women who are with men who don't clean. You know, it's not manly to clean. I'm sorry, taking care of business is the manliest thing that you can do.
Oh, like that's
so like they don't do laundry, they don't
women's
clean.
work.
Yeah, which that's such a backwards belief. And also, I pride myself on having a clean place. No one's ever coming over to my place, but it's clean. Like I don't.
Just in case they do.
No, because I want it to be clean. These antiquated roles. Like, why is it emasculating if your girlfriend or wife has a job that makes more money than you? It's not.
Well, part of having all that money is like control. It's like, okay, well, my appeal is that I take care of her financially. You know, you look at men, like most of us aren't that appealing visually. We're just, you know, we're Jeeps compared to the Ferrari that is a female body. So it's like,
oh yeah, I'll give you that.
Interesting way to. Okay.
We're like garbage trucks.
Yeah, most of us
we serve a purpose.
We're utilitarian.
Even Jeeps can look good, but no, we're garbage trucks.
Yeah, so it's like, and, you know, it's only a rare amount of guys that, you know, breach that and become, you know, just like a Kia or something like mildly like good looking. No, I'll say, you know, more you got your.
But you're a Kia stan. So
I am a Kia stan.
That's your,
full disclosure.
I don't know if our audience
brought to you by Kia.
Yeah, I don't understand that reference.
But I thought you were saying IKEA. You're saying a Kia.
Kia.
Okay, a Kia.
But like, you know, they're rare. You know, we're not. Most of us aren't. You know, Idris Elba. You know, we're not going to be.
Yeah.
Doing that.
He's a good looking man.
So, But with that
But,
being said,
okay, but
having a job.
This entire like notion though is almost like it's reductive. You know, like so you're saying women the only thing they have to offer is their looks.
No, I'm saying
But
that
are
in the
they-
mind of a male,
Okay.
right? Who thinks who would be
Males
like,
who aren't as
self-conscious.
evolved as us.
Exactly. Yes. We're allies. But if you're a guy who is self-conscious about not making as much or more money than the lady you're with, it's because you believe part of your like security and keeping her there is the fact that you make
That's
money.
your value in the relationship.
Exactly.
But that's what's like power dynamics are really fascinating in that because you just listed off so many like one being looks, so that's a power dynamic, right? Like it's an unsaid one that like I don't know, like for some people they maybe navigate that without words, you know, and
Sure.
it's like, hey, I'm very good looking.
Well, it does go without saying. I mean, clearly we're visual. We look at each other.
No, I know, but like this is what I mean. Like it's like there's money, there's looks, and then there's contribution, I guess, and that's like doing shit around the house.
This is lovely. You just have the bottle there.
I.e., like how much work I do. So it's like, hey, if you're the breadwinner and you're not the looks, then you better be fucking working extra hard around the house and helping out with your fucking kids.
Yeah.
Because like, otherwise, like, what are you bringing to this? And I guess there's the whole like, I don't know, I provide love and consideration, but like
That bullshit.
Emotional
whatever.
support. Yeah.
That's just called like couples therapy, right?
Well, you bring up an interesting point because more and more people are staying single, not getting married, not having kids, and there's always the question of why that is. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head because everyone's sort of assessing what they're getting out of a relationship, and as these roles are changing, and you know, women can take care of themselves. Why do they need a man?
Right.
And then
That's
men,
so less defined.
men are progressing, and you know, we like to cook, we like to clean, you know. So those were traditionally the roles that women had, and so now that we can take care of that, why do we need women?
Yeah.
Right.
What's
So-
the DINA system? Demonstrating value is one of them.
Engage physically,
Okay.
neglect emotionally.
But just to like remove all that, the demonstrate value, like that's a good starting place for like that conversation because like how much value are you demonstrating? And if you're just like a super hot girl, like your value is inherently in your looks, and you're not gonna like provide anything else, and therefore like the man should be chivalrous and make the money and like whatever. But then like, what if this good-looking girl is like on OnlyFans and then makes all of the money, and then like how do you date somebody like that with us being Kias at best? You know, like if you're not going to be rich, she's already rich. She doesn't need any level of you providing. So the only way you do it is to simp for her on a next level.
How's that D?
I mean, I guess
Come with a good D.
Come with a good
simp
D.
hard.
D for
and
DINA
be
system is now how's the D?
okay with like being borderline cucked by the entirety of everyone who wants to look at her pussy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the modern state of like, I mean that's a new dynamic. This is the paradigm has shifted so profoundly that like everywhere you look online there's hot girls. Like you don't have to go to porn. Like Instagram is softcore porn half the time. You know,
TikTok.
You're just there like what's happening? Oh, this girl is like soft linking me to all of her porn shit now.
Yeah.
Like you can't even like live in the modern state of social media without being exposed to a level of just mental disruption that it makes it impossible to reconnect with like a traditional household or a traditional relationship dynamic. You know?
get off of social media, folks.
Yeah. But that is something interesting because that's a whole different dynamic that's been put out there. Because back in the day, you would date who was in your town or the next town or whatever. But now you have online dating, you have Instagram. It's like all these things seem more tangible in a way that it's almost like the ice cream paradox, I think is what they call it. But anyway, it's like if you go into an ice cream shop and they have chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, easy decision. You pick one of those. But you go to the Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors, all of a sudden you're like, well, shit, do I want the chocolate or do I want the vanilla bean? Like,
pecan, mint, chocolate chip.
Yeah, and it's almost
butter,
like
Rocky Road. Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you're engaging with a woman, it's not you can't just pick them and you get them. Like they have to pick you back too, right? So it's like, but you don't really think about it that way. You think all these are your options, and you just pick the one you want. You're still like paralyzed by the decision.
But then again, women still come with this like want to like I want to be protected. I want this like feeling. It's like almost inherent, Not all women, but like a good portion of women talk about this.
Who doesn't want to feel desirable?
Well, of course, but that's what I mean. Like the landscape and like the world that we're operating in doesn't necessitate it in the same way. But I think something inherent and instinctual within us like still does,
Yeah.
But in this new world where like men actually have feelings and they don't just get to be like, I went to war and then I went to my job every day and I never had a feeling and I provided for my family and that was good enough. And now it's like, wait, we want men to have feelings, and now that we do, like, and we're allowed to voice them, everyone's like a little bit like, what the fuck?
Not those feelings.
Like, shut up. Like,
no, you can have them, just don't show them or talk about them or think about them.
It's this weird like world that we live in where it's just like it's so abstract, and then there's all these traditional ideas, and like no one really knows what to make, and that's why like these like what's his name, Andrew Tate or whatever,
yeah.
Those type of fucking alpha, like I'm gonna reset it, I'm gonna fucking like let you know how it is, and like this is how you dominate, but meanwhile you're like basically a pimp. Is that what he was doing?
It was like, what was it? It was kind of sex trafficking, kind of like.
That's a pimp.
Being a manager for cam girls.
Yeah, I'm thinking more cam girl stuff management. But like the way he was like fucking with their head.
He was like gaslighting them. And
is that different than a pimp? You're just selling their sex in a different way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hopefully he's not slapping them up. But
I'm sure he got violent with that.
Maybe.
You can't. That motherfucker. You look at that motherfucker and the way that he talks and the way that he,
Yeah.
No. What he did was the implication.
Oh, jeez.
Are these women in any danger?
My favorite. I read a quote from him about reading, and about how he doesn't like to read because he said he's too smart to read.
That's
okay. Well, that's
a red flag.
Because
that's a green flag.
It wastes time, and you're thinking someone else's thoughts, like that they wrote down, and they're like forcing.
We're not gonna think my own great thoughts.
Yeah, I can think my own thoughts.
No one makes me think another person's thoughts. All right.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Right.
Basically,
he was inside of you, and that's gay.
How
you let his thoughts get inside your brain.
And now listen, I like reading.
You think
I understand that not everybody reads. That's fine, but to be actively against reading, to me, that's oddly red flag.
Well, that's the whole the faux intellectualism is kind of like so you're not for this thing, fine. No one's do like crusade against it.
Mm-hmm.
Something so instrumental towards being a smart person, which is reading information. You're just like, no.
Well, I mean, you can parallel that with lots of other things. It's all these Republican senators and congressmen and politicians who are so anti-gay are the ones that turn out having had sexually molested boys as coaches, or have these sexual allegations, or my God, like Lindsey Graham and his ladybugs. I won't say it here, but look it up. You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard about this.
I don't know anything about it.
This is not safe for work. So
allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. A male prostitute came forward and said that Lindsey Graham had hired his services, and so Lindsey Graham came to his hotel room, blah blah blah, and the guy says, "Oh, take a shower, clean yourself up," as I guess is typical with this sort of interactions. I don't know. So Lindsey Graham takes a shower, comes back, and then they start getting into it, and the guy looks at his asshole and is like, he thought it was like covered in like dingleberries or shit or something, and they're moles, and he has tons of like big moles on his asshole, and the guy was kind of weirded out by him, and Lindsey Graham said, "Those are just my ladybugs."
What?
No.
No, come on.
Yes, this checks out.
That's
So-
my ladybugs.
That
I mean,
is what Lindsey Graham would say if his asshole was covered in.
allegedly. But no, I find it so odd that the people who are most staunchly against something are typically like, that. You know, I have no qualms about homosexuality. I'm straight. It doesn't affect me in the slightest. So it's a non-issue.
Are you sure? Because when gays get married, it makes it worse for straight people. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's there's so many things like that. Where why are you thinking so deeply about someone else's sex life? Well, as long as it's consensual, it should be all good.
I've always found the argument that you're like, what the temptation argument.
Yeah.
Like religious types.
Yeah.
Like, how can you be tempted by me? So
they're tempted.
Yeah. That's inherently you're implying yourself.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
You are tempted by some fucking dick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like,
how's that deep?
You're like the devil's tempting you to fucking suck that dick. And it's like, why don't you just say it that way? And then we're all just like, oh, okay, I see.
They've never come out and said it, but it's essentially like,
like
I have gay thoughts,
yeah,
but I just don't act on them.
Like,
right.
I'm so mad that I gotta scream about it in front of an audience of people.
I mean, it's
like sucking dick is the evil.
Well, and like normalizing it too. Like it's not just I have gay thoughts and I'm tempted. It's I have gay thoughts and I'm tempted like everyone.
Right.
But I just don't do it.
Right.
If you make it legal, then what else is going to stop me then?
Yeah. Well, no, the other thing too, like you hear about these. One of their arguments, you know, I have Republican parents, and their arguments are like, "Oh, well, men can marry. What, like, marry their dogs?" It's like,
I love it.
What?
That is
you thought about that?
Yeah.
That is the fallacy of the slippery slope
right?
argument,
Yeah.
which I think is the most like overused and disingenuous argument you could ever make. When it comes to nuance, like there is no nuance. It's like, oh man, like. You're gonna fuck a guy? What are you gonna fuck a table next? It's like, no. Why would I fuck a table? What are you talking
Why
about?
wouldn't you?
Like,
well, if
what's gonna stop you? What's gonna stop you, you immoral piece of shit?
Well, it's like the religious argument of like, oh, you know, if you don't believe in God, then what's stopping you like murdering people? And Ricky Gervais says it best. He says like, I rape and murder as many people as I want. 0. Yeah. I don't want to rape and murder anyone.
Why would I do that? Why would I ever? You're a sicko for saying that.
Yeah, which again implicates them in saying that without the fear of eternal damnation, you'd go out raping and murdering people? That's the only thing stopping you is some 2,000-year-old written bullshit?
Yeah. No, it's weird. It's so fucking perverse and weird. Like when you really start breaking that shit down, it's bizarre to me.
Oh shit, man, that's crazy.
It is crazy. People are crazy, man. There's no logic. There's no nuance. There's no anything anymore. You just are stuck. You're stuck simping for an OnlyFans bitch, or you're in the church.
So wait, I have a question about OnlyFans. I don't have any smart devices or phones or social media or anything. Do you pay per person, or is it you pay OnlyFans subscription and then you can gift money to women?
I think it's to them. Like so
it's like the app free.
I think the app's free,
and then you subscribe.
An app. I think it's a website.
Oh,
well,
gotta have an app.
First of all,
I mean,
no one goes to websites anymore.
I guess everything
go on
is,
an app.
If it's one, it's the other, like for sure.
I mean, all you kids on your phones.
Listen, you pop in your AOL free 25 hours of internet.
Yeah.
You dial in.
Dial up. You can't get any phone calls.
No, don't get called. You box it off.
The only thing, if OnlyFans is there for like, if you like a specific person and you want to like have some level of direct communication with them, it's not just like, oh, I get access to your videos. I get.
Wait, you chat with them?
You can, but more than likely, it's gonna be somebody else.
Oh, sure, their manager or like their team. Yeah. You're talking to a dude.
Someone was telling me. I almost want to use code words here.
Well, I'm gonna bleep out
code words enough.
Yeah, I bleep out names. So I don't know if you've seen all of our things, but if it's someone who hasn't been on the show that we know, I bleeped her name out.
Okay.
But so I bleeped her name out tons of times. But now that we're here,
go back and unbleep them.
Yeah, no, but now from now on, anytime we mention Dustin, it would be.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. If you consent to that, you have to sign a fucking release form.
Sure, I'll sign it. It's not a big deal. But okay, this person.
This person, yeah, I mean,
Who we all know.
apparently had a team of like people who respond.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, because
And it's mostly men.
yeah, I would
So
imagine
you're paying to like.
Who else
sext,
knows what a
you
man
know, or,
wants?
Like, yeah, they'll do. There's like you can do like cock ratings and shit.
Oh,
So you can send
What's it
your
called? What'd you say?
cock ratings.
so you send your cock picture to
Your
a woman
OnlyFans crush.
who is really a bunch of guys rating your dick.
Well, I mean,
And because you're paying, you're not getting an objective rating. They're gonna they probably give everybody a 9 or 10. Oh, you look
that's
great.
a great looking cock.
That's a really nice cock. Got me wet. I mean,
like,
who better than guys to dirty text other guys? We know what we want to hear.
Yeah.
now let's bring it full circle though, because like, if you're not the money, or maybe you're the breadwinner, but this is how you win the bread for your family.
Okay.
You're working for your family, but this is your job, is to rate guys' cocks on some other girl's OnlyFans thing. And
That's a power dynamic that is too far for me. Yeah.
Now your kid has to bring it. What's your dad do? Is that career day or whatever?
So, like a lot of these women have been called out. They're like, how are you gonna like justify the fact that you make all this money when you could have had a law degree and you're a woman and you made millions of dollars on OnlyFans and you could have had a career, but then like you're making more money than you would have if you would have done like I don't even know, like
Law job.
or like what Dustin does.
Yeah.
Like, which is a great career, like to bring it all the way back to the start of like you did an internship just to get it, and then you find out that you would make more rating cocks as like a subterfuge communication device for some woman's OnlyFans, and then you're like, well, I needed to provide for my family, so I started rating cocks and sexting with random strangers.
I don't know what sort of career fulfillment that is, but
career fulfillment.
I guess that's not important for everybody. Yeah.
That's what vacations are for.
Yeah.
When you're in Bora Bora, you're not thinking about.
Yeah. You're
Dicks?
not thinking about all those.
Oh, you're thinking about dicks.
They may haunt your nightmares.
I don't take my work home with me unless I have to. I mean, it's. I say make the money while you can because, looks fade, and unfortunately that's what we judge people on these days. And so, shit, if you look good and you can make millions on OnlyFans, fucking do it.
Well, so many of these women, they got college degrees and then realized they could make more money on OnlyFans, and I'm just like, fine, whatever. Like, if that's where our society is, and this is where these billionaires are like, be grateful, and then these women are like, I can make so much more money. I'm like, well, then do it, because fuck, no one cares about you.
Yeah,
like,
right.
They don't care about me. They don't care about anything. They care about being fucking millionaires. So some of these women have like families and like they sustain and they're like, good mothers and shit.
So I've never really met anyone who pays for porn.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone who pays for porn?
It's not something that is done anymore.
Who's obviously do it.
I mean, obviously, but who's doing this?
People who like want connections, I guess.
So okay, here let's try to like make a Venn diagram of who's using this porn. So are we talking about maybe older men who don't know how to use the internet correctly?
I think there's got to be a
have
certain
some extra
amount of
money?
like boomer as far as like not understanding that
Like,
it's free.
You can find anything you want for free.
Mhm.
You can find OnlyFans girls for free.
Yeah.
If you find an OnlyFans girl and you're like, maybe I'll give her $5, do a little more digging because you can find her pictures for free. I guarantee it.
But that's an implied level of just like
But are young guys who have no disposable income simping for these girls?
Possibly.
I mean, I guess maybe if it's just $1 or $2 and then you have 100,000 guys doing it, then there's your money.
There's lonely guys out there, and I think
But lonely guys and dumb guys.
But I think the illusion of like, oh, she wrote me back and said my dick looked good. Like there's people who may not be savvy about that.
Who's young and not savvy about the internet
They
to
may
not
not
understand that?
This is the thing, like the savvy about the internet depends on the level of want. Like So you're saying, oh, if I really wanted to, so what do you got to do? You got to dig on Reddit. You got to fucking like do all these like things, these extra steps, as opposed to somebody who's just
Like a Bing search.
Yeah, like as opposed
As
to the
she's-
person like I'm horny now, and I have like all my shit hooked up, and like I could just like do this and then like look at it and then like not think about it.
I guess the other
or
thing too is
message.
that everyone's on phones now. Nobody's using computers anymore, right? I'm going to sound like a boomer, but
Yeah.
you're on your phone. I do think that the younger generation is almost less tech savvy because
To a degree.
it just works here.
Yeah.
I just do this and it works.
Yeah.
As opposed to, we had to work on computers when we were younger and know how they
would break.
worked because they would break or we would have to
Virus.
upgrade them and blah, blah, blah. And so we know a little bit more about computers to the point where...
Don't tell our audience that our audience is 18 to 24.
18 to 24-year-olds? Okay,
Mostly
well...
male demographic.
So
I'm
we're
assuming.
we're talking
we
about
siphon
you
off
then.
the Joe
Yeah.
Rogan podcast.
Oh, God.
Obviously, we have no fucking audience.
I
With 7 subs.
I'm
Seven.
very... I find the whole thing very confusing, to be honest.
You should. It is. The current world is confusing.
Well, yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
It's just very odd to me that people would spend their hard-earned money as our money is valued less and less, as we're making less and less, as our buying power goes down and down. That's what people spend their money on? When,
Some.
like, listen, if you could get avocado toast,
I took out a loan
Growing
to
in
get
your
that toast,
yard.
but yeah.
Yeah.
if it grew in your yard, avocados and a bread
Toast.
maker or something like that, right?
Yeah, toast tree.
Microwave.
You'd think twice
Microwave
about
tree.
going and buying avocado toast because it would be like,
Yeah, I got it.
I got it right here.
I can make my own.
That's how I feel about this pay-to-play porn shit. Is it's all there for free?
No.
Why do I have to pay
You're
for it?
not wrong.
I've always thought this. I mean, Pornhub's out there. They have millions and millions of videos that are all free. I don't know how they make their money. Do people
Ads.
pay for porn?
I'm sure there's probably some subscribers, but I think ads probably. I mean, there's
There's
ads
ads?
on Pornhub.
Oh, I run ad block, so.
Yeah. I mean,
Get out of the way.
I don't know, man. There's always going to be new ways for people to, like, get their rocks off. There's always going to be new ways for the internet to find ways to charge people
I'll tell you what I think.
to get their rocks off. OnlyFans has obviously been wildly successful.
If you could do a direct cam to cam.
Has it not? Can we?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
I
been
think you
hugely
can.
successful. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure you can do
Sex sells.
Okay,
It's
but I'm saying
stigmatism.
direct cam to cam, and then some sort of robotic device that you put on your dick
That's coming.
that like simulates what she's doing on her
That's
end.
coming.
Yeah.
You
That
think
could
that's
be
not
cool.
coming?
That could be.
Yeah.
That's coming. No,
I'd
obviously
be
that's coming, and that's what those guys are investing in. So, like, what? Any more questions? I'm fucking Thomas H. Pumpkins right now. What's his name? Any questions?
Tom Hanks.
Thomas H. Pumpkins.
It is almost Halloween time.
Oh yeah.
Is it Thomas or William?
I don't know. Something pumpkins.
David, that's pumpkin.
David S. Pumpkin.
That's it. But anyway.
Thomas H. is Tom Hanks. Pumpkins.
Hey, man,
Thomas Hanks pumpkins.
That's how brains work sometimes. So, but yeah, no, I think obviously that is there, but like whatever's happening with OnlyFans, it's another level of I don't know, the psychological need to connect component. You know, the internet I think has thrown everyone's brains into some sort of fucking whirlwind of nonsense. So
Yeah.
like you're fine with just the visual component of pornography, just being like, yeah, that girl's getting fucked. I can beat my meat, whatever.
I like the like virtual, where it looks like you're like POV stuff.
In case anyone needed.
Uh-huh.
So
You
if you're
wanna
looking
get
for a
that
gift from me,
view. Yeah.
But I think like that level, like this is to me, it speaks more about just the loneliness that people experience. You know, like
what's everybody so lonely
psychological-
for?
I just think psychologically, like the dystopian disconnect of like what the internet has provided us in a modern sense. You know, like you have your like level of I don't know, just understanding of self. But I think there's a whole generation coming up that doesn't have that. You know, like I think we were sort of grounded in reality in a way that like we might be the last vestige of people who like kind of remember.
What's
like,
the difference? Why?
Because these people grew up on the internet, and then they're still seeking connection the way we used to make connection.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And it's harder.
These people still went to school. I mean, those kids who weren't caught in the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
kids go to school. They have
Sports,
extracurricular
hobbies, yeah.
activities. Why is it so different?
Social media, clearly.
But they're still doing what we did as kids.
But it's not the same. You can't say it's the same.
It's not the same, but like I said, they're getting their social interaction like we did.
Yeah, but like I think
They're getting extra on the
There's
internet.
probably a value to it though that's missing because we value like when you saw your friends at school, that was like the time you saw them, right?
Right.
But here it's like, okay, well, not only do I sort of contact them via we're playing video games or talking or chatting online, but you can also curate this sort of like image for yourself beyond reality on your social media where you're just like, oh, everything's great for me, blah blah, blah. And like you have to live up to those standards too. So it's just like
Yeah.
a lot of things we're thinking about now.
Yeah, and it comes full circle to everything we were
Celebrities.
talking about before, which was like the relationship like dynamics have all shifted, and like the value isn't the same. Like if you really break it down to like caveman levels, like yeah, I'm a man, I protect you, and blah blah blah. Like what was the alternative that women had? And now like women have all these things, and men are kind of like dust in the wind a little bit in terms of just like that's why you have these alpha fucking influencers coming in, and so it's just like it's this weird void of just like disconnection, loneliness, confusion about relationship dynamics. I don't even know like what else, but it's just like the paradigm is like completely shattered.
Yeah.
So
I just find it odd that as opposed to changing with the times and thriving, we have people like Andrew Tate pushing this traditionalist sort of mentality that fights against the status quo. And I'm sorry, you cannot fight change. It's going to happen. It's already happened. I mean,
it's going to happen, but I understand how somebody like him or others can show up in this space and like thrive and make like money and be influential when like we literally have news that like nobody trusts the news anymore. So people are more inclined to trust some nonsense feed of just like, well, this is an interesting idea, like, and they'll run with that over like, well, this is scientifically verified or this or that or like the other. It's just like the level of distrust. It's like everyone's operating on instinct now.
Yeah. There's a
We
quote
have bad
from
instincts.
quote from Mark
That's for
Twain
sure.
that said, "A lie can go around the world before the truth puts its pants on." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
good.
much easier to spread falsehoods than it is. I mean, just look at even in the olden days, they'd print something in the newspaper. If it was wrong, they'd print a retraction, like a little blurb.
Yeah.
Nobody ever read those.
Right.
They
So
read
they-
the false story.
damage is done.
Yeah.
Damage is done.
Oh, I love that quote. That's great.
But yeah, so just to play devil's advocate, I won't say devil's advocate, but like
Say
if
it.
you're talking about information, misinformation, that sort of thing, the reason why something like that is so readily gobbled up is because people, despite not knowing why or what or like exactly what it is, but there's a disconnect between the people who usually tell us what's right and wrong and reality. I mean, like, there was a time when you could trust, you would think your
You mean
businessman,
like politicians and
politicians,
media?
and people that were sort of the leaders of the world. So you have, like,
The trust is completely decayed.
exactly. So it's like, I empathize with the idea that, well, I'm going to trust this Andrew Tate guy because he seems to be, like, the one telling the truth because all these other guys who...
Well, especially if you're an 18-year-old idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, like, if I was 18-year-old and something like that, I'd be like, yeah, this guy fucking makes a lot of sense, but I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but you don't think you're an idiot back when you're 18.
No, you think you know everything.
I'm
And
an
somebody
idiot
who
now,
talks
man.
that fucking, somebody who talks that cocksure, like, when you're an 18-year-old, like, hell yeah. And they're also talking about, like, fucking women in a way that you're like, yeah, I want to be that fucking, like,
wanna fuck.
I want to be that dude. I've got so much testosterone. I get boners all the time.
Yeah.
The girls should love them.
It's hilarious because if you pull the veneer back, you're having some guy tell you how to be an alpha male, and that's you being an alpha male.
That's the sell.
No. And the whole idea of an alpha male is hilarious too because that's come from studying like wolf packs and shit, where the alpha male is actually like provider. He's the last to eat. There's many things about the alpha male wolf mentality that are not expressed at all.
Usually hangs out in the back of the line too.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of like a cup to me.
Yeah. Fucking, I need to be a beta male. Don't you dare.
No, what's the omega male?
Sigma.
Sigma, the last letter in the Greek alphabet, right?
Well, hold on. Zeta is the last letter in the alphabet, but Sigma male is the one that is supposed to be above the omega, or alpha, above alpha.
Is omega above alpha?
No, it's So alpha was the top.
Okay.
Right? Then
The
Sigma male came out,
Yeah.
which is you're so alpha that you don't need anyone.
Is that like the grind set mentality of like
Grind
you gotta have a
set.
hustle, side hustle?
But that's also just being an incel, like
Yeah.
to a degree. That is just like beyond. But you're not just an incel. You're like the buffest incel.
Okay.
Have you seen that? You've not.
So
seen
wait.
One insane.
Well, you're not even incel because you're celibate. It's not involuntary.
Yeah, like it's
Oh.
like every girl wants to
Yourself.
fuck you, but
Yeah.
you're so fucking beyond everything.
Yeah, that you won't let them.
That just sounds like what we used to call an edgelord.
I mean, you can call it that too.
Still bad. Yeah.
No, that's odd. So their mentality is just personal fulfillment.
Don't need any help.
Yeah,
I do
you're
everything
so
myself.
focused on your goals.
Yeah,
and your dreams.
Don't need anyone.
There was this one fucking.
Sounds like libertarians.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's very much.
No, I saw a great thing about libertarians. Compared them to house cats. Like libertarians walk around with like this entitled sense of independence, so fierce, so they take care of their own shit. They don't need help from anybody, all while taking advantage of all the systems that they claim to dislike. You know what I mean? Like being totally dependent.
Still wait for that food.
Like what's his face? The guy from Coach. His old show, his old
Craig T.
sitcom.
Nelson?
Craig T. Nelson. He has this quote where he goes, I was on food stamps. Nobody ever helped me. He's like, I was poor. I was hungry. I was on food stamps. Nobody ever helped
You
me.
said that
On air. Like on CNN.
Oh my god. Come on, man.
So it shows the level of disconnect that people have. So.
Fellows, we have 4 minutes.
Well, it's been good chatting. We rambled
wait a
over
second.
a lot of topics.
We went directly into a lot of
I mean, this is how our conversations typically went when we lived together. So
That's true.
and we didn't argue this time.
Yeah.
Me and this guy used to argue all the time.
Just for fun.
We got into some heavy spats.
That's true.
And now we're beyond that. We're Sigma friends.
Yeah. Sigma's for buck.
Did you want to briefly talk about some of the work you do, or you don't care?
I mean, I can. I've worked on some cool projects. I mean, it's not super glamorous. 99% of the time.
It is.
I've got to pee.
99% of the time, I work on commercials and advertisements and things like that.
Seen this guy's work.
I did get to work on a couple cool projects.
Yeah.
Most notably, the Game of Thrones intro, the House of Dragons intro, and Westworld intro, and the Last of Us intro.
I did want to talk about the Game of Thrones intro reception versus the House of Dragon intro reception because it was funny because I came over to your house shortly after it aired,
Yeah.
and as someone who received all sorts of adoration and like aplomb and an Emmy,
We got an Emmy for the Game of Thrones.
for
Yeah.
Game of Thrones intro, to see the reaction to the House of Dragon intro, where people
Well, I'll tell you what. Coming off of a hit show like that, we were never going to capture the imagination like the original show did.
right. It was pretty revolutionary. It was like
The shows like that are time and place shows, right? Breaking Bad, The Wire, shows that revolutionized TV, and you can't recreate magic like that. That said, I can't talk a whole lot about the internal things that happened with the intro for House of Dragons, but I will say this. It was complicated from a lot of different points of view, and I wish we could have done better.
Yeah. But beyond that, it was just like, first off, I didn't hate the intro. I liked it. Yeah. But it did seem like it was trying to recapture lightning in the bottle.
Yeah.
And do it for not as much. Okay, well, I'm not gonna really. Say
yeah,
much.
I can't say too much
I'm
about
not
it.
gonna say
Yeah.
too much about it.
I am blessed to have worked on cool stuff. I'm always happy when I get to make something that millions of people get to see. So yeah.
So all right, and with Caleb back, it's time to end the show.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
It was good. It was good chatting with you again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, viewers, for sitting through our diatribe.
Yeah. All right. So next show, next year, whenever I feel like.
Next year.
I don't know.
It's only September.
We're not. I don't know what these things.
You got to have
are
another
anymore,
one.
just
You
whenever.
need Pat in here.
This man has to drive like 3 hours a day just to get to his job at this point.
Yeah, just like with
Because
editing.
of the billionaire class. They demand him to drive that much.
It's horrible.
But thank you
Quality
for the
of
job.
life be
Thanks for the
damned.
job.
Yeah, I'm very thankful. But yeah, it's just get Pat on. I want Pat to get on.
You think Pat would want to be on here?
He feigns sort of like he wants to get on.
Oh, he's a character. You guys are gonna be lucky if he comes on here. Yeah.
You mean
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
beep his name?
But okay, yeah. So next time, thank you for watching. Yeah.
Just remember, nobody asked for this.
Nobody asked for this, but you got it anyway. So until next time,
You
bye.
dumb sluts.